I've always loved animals. Later in life, from the time I was 6, I was really hopelessly in love with horses. The bond I had with animals was much easier. Animals don't have another agenda. What you see is what you get. And so that was really important for me, still important to me. Later in life, I studied a lot. I studied at school, but I also did a natural horsemanship program, so I developed myself in that.
After I graduated high school, I went to Antwerp for 2 years. I studied to become a vet at the university. I learned a lot about anatomy of the horse, in practice and theoretical. And after these 2 years, I went to the University of Applied Science and I studied animal management and graduated. In 2013, I went to Makkinga, to het Lage Woud, and for a few years I studied natural horsemanship there. Then I had to go further, deeper, and went to Michael Wansenried in Switzerland, and he is a famous horsemanship instructor. At this time I also saw that he only used functional saddling system with balance saddles. The functional saddling system has been discovered in the late 80s by Carol Brett, and she was a really good dressage instructor in the UK. So what she discovered was, when she was with a student, that one of the horses she thought was not rideable and naughty did much better without her own saddle, the saddle of the student. So what she did was take her own saddle, who was too wide for our conventional system, and filled it up with more woolen stuff underneath it. And then she discovered that the horse totally changed. Carol Brett and a few co-founders founded the Balance company, Balance International, and they developed this balance saddle, and after a long period of time, last year it was taken over by the horse's voice. This is Craig, and Craig, you can see his anatomy is really nice. He has relatively straight back, and his shoulders are here. And when you look at his JB area that's behind his shoulder blade, that's really relatively filled. You would want this to be for every horse, like this. So the back should be straight. He should use his abdominal muscles when he's walking, like us, straight up. And he should, when you see his back here to the end, he should be able to put his hind legs more forward. So that's what we want for a horse, to walk like, but also when he stands, you would want to see his back like this. I want to show you a little bit about the difference between a conventional saddle and the balance saddle. What you can see here is a conventional saddle, and what stands out is the front. This is V-shaped, and that's a big difference between this saddle and the balance saddle. If you put it on the horse, as I do now, most of the time it's placed against the shoulders. So when the horses move, they can feel the saddle, and it's restricted here. So we do not do that, but what you can see, it's relatively narrow for the horse. So when he's going to move, it will restrict him in his movements. And if he cannot use his shoulder blades in the right way, he cannot use his back in the right way. And when he cannot use his back in the right way, his hind legs cannot come under, and there is more weight on the front legs. I'm taking the saddle off so you can see the V shape. Now Anita's coming to show you the big difference between these saddles. I'm sure you can see the big difference. So I want to put it on Craig's back, and then I will tell you a little bit about that. So if I take this saddle, Anita, take that, thank you. And so this is a balance saddle, and a balance saddle is widely made. You can see it here, and that is what Carol Brett discovered years and years ago, that when you put a saddle on a horse that's wider than the conventional saddle and you fill it up with softer tissue between the horse and the saddle, the horse will feel a big difference. So I will put it on, and you notice that I'm looking for the shoulder blade. And what we do is we put it around, wait, good boy, three fingers behind his shoulder blade, so he can move better with his shoulder blade. And what you can see is that it's not in balance now, but that's what it needs, because we are going to fill it up with softer materials. So first we have a saddle pad, and what you see is a really thick pad, and here's wool. It's a natural material, and it's much softer for the horse. You can see that this pad is thicker than with a conventional saddle. The pressure is more divided because of the wool. That's really an important part of the functional saddling. But if we put the saddle on it now, it will still be wider in front. So we have a wide range of pads that are especially made for the functional saddling system. So what you can see is that it's in front, it is thicker. So it will lift up the saddle a little bit, so it is more in balance. Put the saddle on. Now you can see that the saddle is in balance. You cannot rock it from front to bottom, so it stays in place, and that's the whole secret of the functional saddling. So what you see here with the balance saddle is a wide tree in front, and you see a wide canal. So the back of the horse, the important structures are free, and that in the movement is also important. And these are the panels that we use, and these are filled with foam, but we also use wool if it's necessary. And they also divide the pressure a lot better. Since he has a balance saddle, he improved a lot. His strides, his steps are much bigger, and he is much happier. He moves his head less, so he's better in balance.
This horse, Craig I get from my husband, and I have him for now maybe 6 years. And this is the saddle which I like. First I had a convention saddle, but now but he gets a lot of pain here at the shoulder, and he could not move his back legs. And when Helene says to me, maybe you have to try Lego's saddle, it's a balance saddle, I said yes. And when we put it on, it was a great difference. He could move his front legs, he can step like this. It feels like a freedom. So I have bought a saddle on my own, and this is the saddle which he likes and I like.
My wish for the future is that horse owners and riders gain more understanding and knowledge about the mental and physical health of horses, Natural horsemanship contributes to that, to the mental health of horses, and strengthens the bond between humans and horses. When owners and riders know more about the mental health, they can see and feel when it is not comfortable, and then they also can see when it is. Functional saddling with the horse's voice saddles contributes to the physical health of horses, and I wish that the horse's voice also becomes the human's choice.